Hey, what's up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and welcome to the continuation of my top favorite rotated cards out. This is going to be the top 20 through 11. I think I said that right. List. If you guys don't know, I already covered my top 10, so this is just kind of a 11 through 20 kind of thing. So I'm going to be starting from 20 up to 11. So starting off, we have Blissey from Mysterious Treasures. Blissey has an attack Happy Chance. You don't need to worry about the Poke Power. Happy Chance, basically you do 20 damage plus 10 more for each energy attached to Blissey, and then you take an energy out of your discard pile, and attach it to Blissey. So, back then, this was actually really sick. It was really awesome. You could do high amounts of damage with this card. And Blissey was definitely one of my cards that I played around with when I first started the game, so it holds a very special place in my heart, just like every card does in this list. So, definitely had to add this on here. It's got 130 HP, which is really good for back then. It was a stage 1. And Blissey is just one of my favorite cards. Next up, we have Flygon from Rising Rivals. Flygon has an ability, or not ability, a Poke Power, Poke Body, Poke Body. That basically, if you have an energy attached to Flygon, that's the same as any of your Pokemon on your field. They have free retreat. So, got a card like this Ninjask here. You got a Grass on a Flygon. This has free retreat. So it's kind of like Darkrai EX's Dark Cloak ability. Then it's got Sandwall for 40 damage. Discard a stadium that your opponent has in play, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to Flygon. And then it has Power Swing for 60, and then it does 10 more for each Pokemon that's evolved on your bench. So, Flygon's a really sick card. I prefer it over Level X. This is just absolutely awesome. This is actually back for Dragon types. So, next up, we have Jumpluff from Heart Gold Soul Silver. Jumpluff is a lot like Empoleon. With its mass attack, it's the same thing as attack command. You do 10 times the number of Pokemon that's in play, both yours and your opponent's. I don't know if Empoleon says attack or plus, whatever. And then it has a Leaf Guard, and it does 30 damage, and then during your next turn, any damage done to Jumpluff by attacks is reduced by 30. Jumpluff was an absolutely awesome card. It was played with Luxray GL Level X, just so you can bring up stuff and one-shot it. And my buddy Michael actually won his first tournament with this card. He played Jumpluff, Vileplume with Sunflora. It was a deck he just threw together in the car, and he actually ended up winning the tournament with it. So, this is a really cool card. It scared me a lot going against it back in that old format because of just how much power it had. And then next up on my list, we have Yanmega Prime. It is an awesome card here. It has a Pokebody that basically, if you and your opponent have the same number of cards in your hand, this Pokemon can attack for free. It has a linear attack, which does 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then it has Sonic Boom for 70. It just does a solid 70. You know, it isn't affected by weakness or resistance. But back then, 70 was like kind of like a magic number because you can hit Pokemon twice and knock anything out, basically. And Yanmega had a lot of cards that would help it out. So it's like Judge, which is both you and your opponent shuffle your hand in your decks, and then draw until you have 4 cards. And it was Copycat, where you shuffle your hand in and draw as many cards as you have as your opponent. So this was an awesome card. I played around with it a lot. This was definitely used. I mean, I couldn't get rid of it. I kept it. I actually found it in my big giant pile that I looked through this week, so pulled them out. Next up on the list, we have a team here of Tyranitar and Weavile. Tyranitar from Stormfront and Weavile from Secret Wonders. Tyranitar has a Pokebody that after your opponent uses the power, you can get a basic dark energy out of your discard pile and attach it to Tyranitar. And then it has a grind attack. It does 20 times the number of energy attached to Tyranitar. Spinning Tail for 5 darks, do 30 damage to all your opponent's Pokemon. This was a sick card. Big, gigantic, beefy stage 2 that could one-shot stuff. And then we have Weavile here, and basically what it did, it had the Shadow Charge attack, which was free. And you can get 2 dark energy cards out of your deck. So you can grab special darks with this, and you can just attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. So basically the goal of the deck is just sit there and just Shadow Charge, Shadow Charge, Shadow Charge, Shadow Charge, and then you just send a Tyranitar and just start wailing on your opponent. So I played this deck a lot. It was really fun. Next up on the list, we have Abomasnow. You guys can't see, I'm sorry. I pulled out the reverse for some reason. It has... Where's my phone? It has my... Okay. It has a body that basically when it's attacked, it reduces all damage by 20. And then its attack Snow Play. It does 20 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, except for Grass and Water, but back then, Grass and Water wasn't played that much. And then it has below 0 for 60, and if you evolved it from Snover this turn, your opponent's Pokemon was paralyzed. This is a really cool card. I definitely played it in a lot of decks. So, I mean, I played against it a lot too. I mean, I went into one of my first tournaments with a deck like this with Empoleon and Metagross. It's kind of like a spread snipe deck, and I had a lot of fun with it. Next up on the list we have Gardevoir. People know what Gardevoir does if you're like an older player. Has the Telepass, and basically what it does is you take a supporter out of your opponent's discard pile. Use that effect as the effect for this power. You can only use one Telepass a turn, and then it does Psychic Lock for 60, and your opponent can't use powers next turn. Kind of a lock card slash, you're getting a more consistent thing going. So this was an awesome card. I played around with it a lot whenever DCE was released again, and I really love the deck. So that definitely had to be on this list. Next up, we got my boy Gengar here from Arceus. Now, Gengar made the Gengar from Stormfront a lot more deadly. This one did anyway, because as the curse of I keep trying to say ability, the cursed Pokepower, which basically what you do is you move a damage counter from one of your opponent's Pokemon over to another. So back then, a lot of cards like Uxie, Azelf, Mesprit, Claydol, and all kinds of other stuff had 70 HP and it had Pokepowers. Well, Gengar hit for 60 damage if it had a Pokemon power on it with Shadow Rune, and then you can just move something over with this, and that's 70. I mean, I played one of these after Nationals. I played it in my Gengar deck. It really came through for me, man. It was a really awesome card. It has Shadow Skip. It does 60, and then you do 10 damage from one of your opponent's Pokemon. So I mean, obvious synergy there with Gengar from Stormfront. So it's really awesome. Now we got 2 cards left here, guys. This one's actually why we had an emergency rotation, in my opinion. I know people said there were other reasons, but this card really is the reason why, I believe. We have Sableye from Stormfront. Now, you guys can have a little quick overview of what happened here. Pokemon, you couldn't always play your supporters and all that stuff during your first turn and all this junk, but we got to where we got to where we could do that, and it basically made Sableye broken because of the Pokebody and overeager. If you start with Sableye and you do your coin flip and everything, if you lose the coin flip and you're going second, your opponent doesn't flip over Sableye, and you do, you go first. That's seriously the ability here. So if Sableye is your active Pokemon at the beginning of the game, you go first. Now, if your opponent has a Sableye too, then really it's just a normal thing. It has the attack impersonate. You search your deck for a supporter, discard it, and use that supporter's effect as the effect for this attack. That's a really good card. This card was played a lot in Gyarados, actually, because you could set up Gyarados early. But it had the attack Overconfident. If the defending Pokemon has fewer HP than Sableye, its attack base is 40. Well, back then there was a lot of stuff like Expert Belt, which is basically Muscle Band in a sense, Crobat G, there was Plus Power, there was just all kinds of stuff that added damage, and you can do all of this in one turn and just donk your opponent. You can just control the game, and I mean, there was so much shenanigans going on with this card. They actually did an emergency rotation, so that was really brutal, man. So that's why we got one of those. That's why that's in there. I mean, I have a lot of memories with that card. Now, coming in at number 11 or number 1 on this set of lists. What the heck am I talking about? We have one of my favorite cards of all time. A card that, like, when I look at, I smile. I think this card is absolutely beautiful, and that is Magnezone Prime. Now, Magnezone Prime is absolutely my favorite Prime besides Donphan, I think. Now, the reason I love this card so much is because I played a deck called Megazone. Gen Mega and Megazone, basically, and I loved it. I fell in love with that deck, and I have to do a list for my top decks here soon. So, he has the Pokepower Magnetic Draw, and you can draw till you have 6 cards in your hand. It's basically Delphox, and it has Lost Burn. Okay, we had this mechanic called the Lost Zone that really didn't take off in Pokemon, but it's what this card's going to talk about. Basically, put as many energy cards attached to your opponent. I cannot talk right now. Put as many energy cards attached to your Pokemon as you like in the Lost Zone. There we go, got it. This attack does 50 damage times the number of energy cards put in the Lost Zone this way. Okay, so basically, you put 4 energies in the Lost Zone, that's 200 damage. Now, I didn't always use that as the main attacker. I use it kind of like as a supporter for Yanmega here, but it's an awesome card. I love it. I mean, I don't know, like this is absolutely like one of my favorite decks, I think. And I don't know, Magnezone, it was a great card. I remember having so many just funny moments in Pokemon with this card just by the sheer fact that like I would one-shot their big Pokemon and they would just kind of be stuck there, and then I would just judge them down to 4, you know, and then that would come out and I would just start sweeping when Yanmega. And that was basically because, you know, Magnezone was such a awesome card and made my deck so much more consistent, because if you have if you have 3 Magnezones on the field, then you can basically draw until you have 6 cards in your hand 3 times. So that was awesome. I never dead drew with this deck, I don't think. I mean, so Magnezone, I love you so much, and I really miss you. I miss every single card on this list here, so we're going to do a little quick little overview here. This is them. And yeah, I miss these cards. Kind of makes me wonder how long. I mean, I've been in Pokemon for a long time. All this stuff except for Jumpluff and Yanmega and Magnezone were all from Diamond and Pearl. Wow. Well, besides Flygon. Anyway. And Arceus. Okay, I'm supposed to stop there. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I love making videos like these because it makes me remember, you know, just all the fun memories I've had and why I've stuck with this game for so long. And yeah, that'll do it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm doing yet. It might be, I have 3 videos I could do tomorrow, but I think I have the one in mind I'm going to do. So, that being said, you guys take care. Appreciate you for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more stuff like this, definitely give this video a thumbs up, share it, comment, do what you want to do. And this is Epic Pokemon TCG, signing out.